Build your life on destiny and not fantasy. You know, fantasy is there today, tomorrow it's not there. But destiny is there for lifelong. For lifelong. So therefore, don't build your career on fantasy, or your life on fantasy, or business or your marriage on fantasy. You know, fantasy relies on all kinds of pride, all kinds of boasting, all kinds of envy, all kinds of jealous. You feel jealous over your friend. Therefore, you begin to compete with your friend. That is fantasy. Fantasy covers the reality of life. And today, a lot of people are living on fantasy. Our generation, they are looking for fantasy than building their lives on destiny. They think that when they suffer today, then they cannot have a good life tomorrow. Ask those people whom God has raised. They were from the scratch, and God dealt their destiny as they were suffering. Now today we see a scenario whereby if a person suffers, then it's the end. I want to encourage you, children of God, make sure that you build your life on destiny and not fantasy. Fantasy looks at things and yet is not the reality. You get that? And therefore, fantasy will not allow you to pass through the valleys of the shadow of death. Will not allow you to pass through troubles. You think troubles, suffering, no, me, no one. So all that you are looking for is fantasy. Therefore you run up and down just to cover your life. But that's not the reality. The reality is that when you have a destiny, you pass through life. You pass through all the stages of life. I'll give you an example of David. For David to become a king, remember this was a bushman. He was a bush boy looking after the sheep in the bush. Yet little did he know that from there destiny was being manned and maintained and even built. David was not a man of luxury. He was not a boy of pleasure like we are seeing today. A lot of young women, young men, they are looking for pleasures of life. They are forsaking their destiny. They think that by fantasy, they are going to be there tomorrow. Fantasy is only for a short period of time. Fantasy is just like the flowers which happen for a season, but tomorrow they will wither. But destiny is like a man whose tree is planted, like a tree planted near the streams of water. In and out of season, it keeps on flourishing. That's destiny. Look at David. When God said, I have appointed a man to be the king of Israel in the house of Jesse. When Samuel went there, he looked at his brother. His brothers were advanced of life. Yes, the Bible describes them. They were looking very good. Very good. Because in them were fantasy and not destiny. They were not meant to become the king.
You raise me up.
Not until God told Samuel to say, don't look at the outward appearance. Fantasy looks at the outward, but yet inside something is killing you. Yet inside you have no peace. Fantasy has no peace. You are insecure almost everything. Even when you have a position, you still look like it's not yours, because that is fantasy. Fantasy look at things from there and not in the deep. Fantasy competes. Fantasy is not content. You are not content over anything. You think that when you pass through life, when you pass through troubles, suffering, then that's the end of you. No. Remember, destiny is built in suffering. I gave you